Let's talk a bit more about innovation and focus on the question, why is innovation important? And in this particular slide, I have put books on innovation, and maybe you could call them my favorite books on innovation. I have focused, and we will be focusing on innovation. Stephen Johnson, it's one of the books. He talks about where good ideas come from, and he has on YouTube there is a very good few-minute video. I encourage you to have a look at it, and it's an animated video, and it gives a very clear and interesting and good picture on how innovations emerge. Basically, he talks about people meeting in different places, about liquid networks, about things being slow to emerge, about serendipity, chance, which is chance, mistakes, acceptation. It's an interesting word, means that something is used for an entirely different purpose. Have a look at the video. It will give you a great idea on how innovations emerge. And basically networks are, and the networks of people are central to how innovations emerge and where good ideas come from. Recognizing change is not necessarily easy. What do you use that was already in use 50 years ago? What do you use that was not available 50 years ago or was not even available 5 years ago? Some time ago I was talking to the classroom, and my son, who was turning 20 at the time, had asked that could we buy him a wristwatch. It was actually his first wristwatch, and then I realized that, oh, let's see, how many in the classroom have a wristwatch? I asked the class, and I was surprised to notice that only 2 or 3 out of a class of 20 had a wristwatch. So I had not realized that the majority no longer use watches. This is simple, I think, and clear to you that many people look at the time on their mobile phone. But the point is here that even though change might be right in front of you or in your hand, if you like, the wristwatch, you will not notice that it is happening. So seeing change, noticing trends is not as easy as you might think. Looking forward, there are companies which are active in changing. They set clear goals that, compared to today, for example, 20% of turnover in 3 years has to come from products and services which do not exist today. What is the situation in your organization or your company? Do you set clear goals to change? Now, even though you have set such a goal, you will be balancing between the challenges of timing and roadmap. You might have a clear idea of what services. A roadmap is an idea of services you will introduce in the future and when you will do so. Now, the secret to success, in my opinion, is that you learn to balance between operational success and effectiveness and the art of bringing in new services, in other words, the art of renewal. You should be careful not to be too ahead of your times, because then you will have products that the people don't know, they are not familiar with them, they will not buy them. So do not destroy just for the sake of renewal, but on the other hand, do not wait, do not over-design your product or service, do not make it absolutely complete before you put it in the market, because you might be too late in arriving in the market. So you do not need to fulfill all the customer needs, but to fulfill the major segment or a startup segment of the market. With your customers, and I will talk about this later on, do not lock into present volumes and present profitability. Many companies have the trap or fall into the trap where they think that they need to search for 5% growth. So if they're a very, very big company, 5% growth or 5% renewal is a very, very big market. And many new and emerging markets are actually in the very, very beginning, very, very tiny. So you might be locked into the paradigm of being a big player, and you might not be interested in small changes. So do not look at the future and compare it with the present, but when you have future proposals, future products, let them compete against each other. Which product is the most profitable, which is the most interesting, which has new markets, and so forth, and try and work with those. Timing and roadmaps is an interesting challenge. So why are inventions or innovations, and I use the words as synonyms here, why are they important? If you pick up this website and have a look at the infograph, many core inventions in past history, inventing the printing press, for example, inventing the internet, they have been very, very important. So yes, we do understand that inventions are important, but you should be thinking, why are they important to you? So you would inventing the internet or inventing the printing press seems very, very far away. And I will be talking about this. So why are inventions also important to the individual? Why are they important to the participant of this course? And here we come to the difference between the industrial society and then the information society. And there is a nice book by Erich von Hippel, Democratizing Innovation, with which he refers to the idea that in today's environment, anybody can innovate. Anybody can come up with a creative idea which leads to a big business. So in the industrial age, and if you look at Charles Chaplin's movie Modern Times, which is situated in the factory, in the industrial age, the factory presents the core of the industrial age, and to build a factory, you need a lot of capital. The Office, which is also a series on TV, presents today's the modern environment. All you have in an office is people and computers and ideas. So all you need in today's environment is a computer and a network of people, and with those assets you can create companies like Facebook, Google, and if they seem far away or distant, in Finland a few years ago a company like Supercell, which is a big company today, was created, and all these guys had was a creative idea, a computer, and of course some skills to create, in this particular case, games. So innovations are important in today's economy because it is the individual with a computer, with creative networks, that can create something big. It could be any one of us who will create something big in the future. And for this reason, there's a lot of talk about innovation and a lot of emphasis on being innovative in the modern society. So, if innovations are important, then why are they difficult? And if you look at this from an organizational perspective, an organization performs effectively when the routines and the processes within the organization are well defined and also well practiced. They are routines. So an innovation essentially breaks these routines. And in that sense, an organization will try, in a sense, to prevent breaking up processes, breaking up routines. In other words, it will prevent new innovations from emerging. Also, present customers, stakeholders, resources, existing investments, they support existing businesses. And through this, they create a lock-in into the existing paradigm, the existing market, and in this way prevent new ideas from emerging. An innovation challenges these present resources, challenges present processes, and breaks routines, established practices blind. A good new innovation can potentially challenge existing businesses, and yet you are faced with a situation that you either innovate or die, and we have seen this happening in Finland, where the Finns were very, very active in creating the mobile phone business, and yet it was the Japanese and then the US and and it was only a shift, and for this reason I have these pictures here. The original mobile phone was intended for talking, so that's the guy on the left. And the new internet mobile phones, you use them more for watching. So a shift from the ear to the mouth, and it was not the creative person on the left. He looks creative, but the less creative looking, if you like, who were very creative and shifted the phone from the ear to be watched and created a new market. So there are many reasons why creating new ideas are actually difficult. And then finally, when are innovations successful? And I use the slogan because you can. So because the customer can do something, and because it is made so very easy to the customer. And I have two examples here. Why do you come to work by car? Because you can. It's so easy. It's easier than using the public transport, for example. And let's shift this. Why did so many people download music illegally from the internet? Well, because anybody could do it. It was so easy. So the challenge of the innovator is to find and identify new needs, and building on these new needs, create new opportunities and new markets. So the key question you should be asking yourself is, what will you create in the future? Thank you.